because I'm kind of close to the road.
Your sound's fine, Sophie. That's always a great. Do you know what? It's always great when we start midway through a sentence. I love that because it kind of makes it feel really authentic and everything. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another My Music. If you're tuning in from wherever you are, strangely, Sophie, do you know one of the most popular locations for this podcast after America, which is the top location, and then UK, is Brazil. So hello if you're in Brazil today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? It's nice to nice to
lovely.
know. We will be talking to Sophie about her wonderful music and maybe where she gets airplay in the world, because she probably knows that from Spotify, after this.
Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop. Keep on, don't stop.
Sophie, thank you for joining me. And we are recording on probably the best day of the week for you, aren't we?
Yes.
Friday.
I felt that this morning. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You have a song out about the whole feel of a Friday.
Yeah.
What is it about Fridays you love?
Well, I suppose the idea behind the song is you can get that Friday feeling any day, you know, and it's that bubble.
And not with a little chocolate bar that snaps and has got like honeycomb in the middle, because that's what they used to say, wasn't it?
Oh.
That's what they used to say. It's that Friday feeling is what they used to say.
Really? Oh, I didn't know that. There we go. Maybe there's a sync feeling there somewhere.
You should get yeah, exactly. I was going to say you should get in touch and see if you could get some sponsorship there.
It's all about that excitement and that bubbling to Christmas morning feeling that you get. And the idea behind the song is, you know, you've met somebody, or it doesn't have to be a love interest. It can be somebody in your life who just gives you that feeling of
makes you want to get up. Makes you want to get up.
Exactly.
Get out of bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely. Did you meet somebody? Did you meet somebody? Is that what is this totally inspired?
All my songs have got a little bit of a nod to, you know, different people in my life, you know, and the feelings are always true that I'm singing about. Yeah. But it, like, you know, it can be the simple things that give you the Friday feeling. Like this morning, well, it is Friday, so I have the Friday feeling, but it was because I got croissants for my breakfast and I was in bed like, oh my goodness, I have croissants downstairs.
Do you know what? Do you know what? We do that every Friday.
There we go.
We do it every Friday. Yeah. The rest of the week, we're really strict. Most of the week, we're on a diet all the time, constant diet. Gets to Friday. For my wife, it's almond croissants. For me, it's panerazzen. And and it's because Lidl's brilliant. Shout out to Lidl's. You know, it's literally over the road.
Unbeatable. Unmatched.
Other supermarkets are available, but Lidl's, if you are watching and you want to send me and Sophie some croissants, you know, free of charge one Friday, we'd be happy. We'd be absolutely happy. That and crunchy bars.
Yes, there we go. We're sorted
for the Friday feeling. Are you quite in general? Are you quite a motivated person? Are you?
Yeah, I am for sure. Yeah. I always have motivation and drive, especially when it comes to music and doing what I do, because I love what I do. So I get very inspired to go out and to sing or to teach or whatever it is that I'm doing that day, whether it's chatting to lovely people like yourself or doing workshops, or, you know, I always find something very exciting in my day. But then I am a glass half full type person. So yeah.
Now, I'm going to say something which might sound a little bit weird here, but it's not. And what you need to do is capitalize on it, right? But your kind of music, when I was years ago, when I was younger and I was at university, yours was the kind of music that I would revise to, right? Because it's quite uplifting. it doesn't sort of, you can listen to it and let it come in without it like necessarily, jolting your mind, or it's not sharp, it's not a sharp sound.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I have to say, yours was kind of music I would listen to sat on the balcony of my third floor digs with a bottle of wine and some cheese and some wine, right? Revising. And I used to, I actually used to say I loved revising because I used to do that. I used to listen to great music, that kind of soulful melody, easy vibes, happy, makes you want to relax. I kind of relaxed into it. I think you should really get into that.
Yeah, and that's definitely the direction that my music is going. And it's not that I'm necessarily like pushing it into that direction. It's just what feels natural, because that's what I listen to. So to try and create music that's maybe like more radio ready, or like is going to be kind of, because I'd say that the music that I'm making, there's probably not like a huge amount of that genre coming out of Belfast, or really probably the UK. So it can be a little bit like, oh, maybe just kind of stick with like a safer, more popular kind of thing. But there is so many people who listen to that more soulful, funky, like more pop leaning towards jazz kind of genre. So that's what I love. So that's what I'm going to keep doing.
But you can. This is the lovely thing about being a musician, and especially being a young musician like you are, is you can always change further down the line. You could surprise people. I mean, actually, if I'm thinking back to like back when I was perhaps listening to stuff like that, like Connie Bailey Rae and stuff like that. I mean, look at her latest album, which is actually really quite. There's some mean stuff on it. You know?
Yeah, that's true. And musicians are always changing, and it's refreshing whenever you hear just a different era, because obviously we change and grow, and our music changes and grows as well. So we should tune into that.
You say that you listen to that kind of music. Who do you listen to?
Well, a whole range, from more modern stuff like Olivia Dean, Lawrence, Jessie Gold, that kind of new R&B kind of thing. I love Sammy Ray and Friends, Leon Bridges, all that kind of stuff. Like the super warm, like chocolatey vocals are just.
Do you know who I went to see the other day?
Tell me.
Brooke Coombs. Yeah.
Where were they playing?
Where was she playing? She was playing at Feckler in Bristol. Yeah.
I really want to go see Lawrence. I miss them whenever they came to Dublin, and they just extended their tour to go to London. So I think I'm going to go over and see them. But I've seen a more kind of. I do also love like the more instrumental stuff. Like I love like Scary Pockets, Snarky Puppy, that type of stuff as well. But I love pop. I do love pop. Love Sabrina Carpenter. Love everything she's doing at the moment, and just a whole range of stuff.
My 11-year-old daughter will be very pleased for you to hear you say that.
Yeah.
She's got a complete crush on Sabrina at the moment.
Oh yeah, I think we all do.
It just it irritates the hell out of my 9-year-old son, because literally that's the only CD that's allowed in the CD player in the car, and he's kind of like, oh, I've heard it a million times now. Which is understandable. It's understandable. There's only so many espressos you can have in the morning before
that's true.
before it becomes.
You still find yourself singing along no matter what.
That pop sensibility bit, though, how important is it for you that, however far down the sort of more soulful jazzy route that you go, that there's an element of that kind of?
I think there always will be an element of that for me, because when I was growing up, I was a big, Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, like all the big pop heads, like that was what I was listening to. And yeah, so I think that it's just so ingrained in me that I don't think my music would ever be like strictly. I don't
Yeah.
think any music is strictly one genre anyway, but you know, that pop influence is so like prevalent. So I can't ever see.
It's definitely going to be there. Are you always
Gonna be
looking? Are you always looking for that within the song, that kind of magic hook line, that little
Yeah,
melody line that, you know?
more and more actually. I mean, songwriting is it's such a learning curve, and how I wrote songs before versus now, and releasing music and seeing what people latch onto, and you know, what people end up singing back to me if they're like, oh, I loved your song such and such, and then this is the line that they sing, and it's really, really interesting. So now when I write music, I would say I would be a little bit more like trying to search for a hook for sure, you know.
Yeah. I
um
I always think that, and it's an interesting one when you're a singer, right?
mm,
But I always think that you almost are looking for, in especially in the modern song, right, that's going to get that, catch people's attention, and because
yeah.
it has to catch it really quickly these days,
Mm,
that you're almost looking to write a bit of that song that you can't write lyrics to,
mm,
if that makes sense,
mm.
right? You're almost looking for the bit where people laugh to it as
Yeah,
opposed to actually sing
yeah,
something. Because as
yeah,
soon as you put words to it, it becomes, unless those words are ooey ooey ooey,
yeah,
it becomes quite difficult to keep that
yeah.
melodic flow to it.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually think, you know, lyrical content is kind of, well, I mean, there's two sides. I sort of feel that it's becoming less important. Like it is more about just the tune that, like you say, that somebody can just la along to, and the body and the arrangement of the song, and the words could be anything sometimes, you know. But then there's songs like, for example, like Messy, that's really, really popular at the moment, and it is fully like raw lyrical, like the song, the story is the song, you know. So you get both sides. I suppose it depends, you know, it depends how you look at it.
Yeah, that's a very clever song as well.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you take anything from songs like that? I mean, when you start stripping that song down, for
Hmm.
example, some of the really interesting things there are like the guitar sound in the background. It's incredible because it's not like a clever riff or anything like that, but he's literally just looping feedback and stuff like that, which is, you know, technically, studio wise, it's clever stuff, but
Yeah.
it allows her voice just to do what it needs to do,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It's for you, is sometimes too much in the background, too much, if you know what I mean. Do you try and pair things up?
In my own music.
Yeah, in your own music, do you ever listen back and go, actually, we've put a bit too much into that?
Yeah, that can happen. That kind of the Friday Feels was a long project, and um, it definitely had a lot of different layers. We threw kind of everything at it, and then it was having to take things away, and actually realizing that, oh, if we take that part out, like look at how much that draws to the rhythm of the vocals at that point, you know.
Mm,
And yeah, like 100% you can do too much. And then of course, you know, how the mix is, because you can have certain layers, but you know, you need to make sure that they're sitting in the right pockets, you know. So that is something that has been a huge learning curve for me, because like I've written music my whole adult teenage life, but my first studio experience was about proper studio experience was about a year and a half ago, and then it's been like, you know, more consistent for that time, but that has been so incredibly eye-opening, you know.
yeah. Are
And
you
now
quite? Are you becoming a geek? Are you as you like going through that process? Are you kind of watching what people do at the same time
yeah,
and going, I'm learning this. I'm
yes,
seeing what you
100%.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, I'm right up, like, you know, right up beside. Just saying,
What's that
what
button
did
do?
you do there? How did you do that? But yeah, I mean, it's such an interesting process, and it makes me listen to music a lot differently now as well. I actually, before it was just all vocals, because as a vocalist, you're drawn to your instrument. But now it's like, what are all those layers? And you'll go back and listen to songs like the Lady Gaga tunes and the One Direction tunes
And you hear
from
that
back
little
in the day.
in the background. You go, oh, I didn't hear
I
that.
never noticed, all those years, never considered that anything apart from the tune that I was going to be singing, you know?
Do you know what I used to call that? I still do to some extent. I used to call that reading music. And what I was talking about there was I still can't read notes. I can, but I can't do it fast enough for it to mean anything to me. So I always played by ear, etc. But I always said, I always had this ability to read music. And what I meant by that is I would listen to a bit of music and my head can immediately kind of break it down into all of those different components. And because of that, music remains infinitely interesting to me, because I just keep going back to it and go, oh, there's even another sonic there that I just didn't hear. Do you think because you're a young person, so you can answer this, do you think young people listen to music properly, or do you think they in general they just hear it?
I think it just depends on the person.
Thank you. Yes, it probably absolutely
It
true.
really depends on the person, you know.
Let's not make any assumptions. Some of you out there, great.
If you're into music and you understand production and that it's a collaborative soundscape, then I think you'll listen a lot deeper. But I think in general, people will just listen and go, oh, I like either I like or I I don't like, or I will learn to like, but maybe not understanding like the intricacies. I don't know, but yeah.
So the next question with that is, but what I do see coming back and making a bit of a comeback at the moment is a lot of artists are starting to do listening parties again. Does that area interest you? Because I think it's quite cool if people, I think like any skill, I think people need to be taught it.
That's so true.
You know, and I quite like the idea of an artist. I quite like the idea of an artist actually sitting down with a group of listeners, going through their whole album and kind of dissecting it for them and going, and actually maybe one of the things that you might have heard there is this on the top, and this is how we constructed it. And you know,
I mean, it's always interesting to hear the creative process behind song and an album, especially because usually an album tells a deeper story, maybe that you're aware of or maybe not. So getting to have that insight from the artist is, you know, amazing, and to be able to discuss it with other listeners and other fans, like I say, it kind of gives me like book club vibes. You know, you can read the book and you can enjoy it, but then you can go and talk about it, and then you appreciate it and the author so much more, you know, and music's even deeper than that. I you know, well, that's arguable, but you know, I think that it's such a great idea for sure.
So one day would we see a Sophie French listening party? Would that be on the
defo, for sure. Everybody can bring like a wee cocktail or something, and you know,
that's it. That's an intro. That kind of leads me on to an interesting question. If you were to create a club night somewhere, I got to feel like you'd probably go with that vibe. What we used to do this club night in London, and we had 3 floors, and each floor was a different type of thing going on, right? So and I'll tell you what that is in a minute, but I would like your view. So if you had 3 floors of a club, what's going on the 3 floors? Basically, you've got kind of a basement, which is dark and, you know, with more lights and everything going on. Then you've got more of a kind of bar area, and then you've got a loft area as well. So what's going on?
So this is where all the different sides of my listening and personality will come out. So I would say you'd have to have a guilty pleasures floor.
Yes.
So
What's on there?
Oh, like the Girls Aloud, the One Day is on there 100%. Like I'm gonna throw
Because you know
what
you're
else?
beautiful, right?
Yeah, well, look, you can't, it's kind of rude not to, you know.
Fantastic.
And then
Maybe even a bit of early take that.
yes, oh, 100%.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So that's going to be a floor. I think I'm probably putting that on the second floor because I'm assuming like you arrive and you're going to have first floor, you're going to be having a few drinks.
Yeah.
I would say first floor for me is going to be like the soul classics. I even going to throw some like Earth, Wind and Fire, Bill Withers stuff is going to go in there. Stevie's in there. Everybody's chatting and vibing.
Nice.
And you've had a few drinks and you're loosening up. So you're like, guilty pleasures. Let's go.
Yeah.
You're going. And then top floor, this is probably maybe surprising. I'm gonna put some bicep, some wee bit of techno is gonna be happening up there.
Yeah.
The house. Let's just go. Do you know?
Absolutely go for it. I love that.
So that's going to be my 3 floors. So it's going to be a really niche audience who's going to want to come to like all 3 of those, but that's fine.
Sophie, do you know what? I think we should do a club night sometime.
I think we should.
I think that'd be brilliant.
It would be. There's no doubt that it would be a success.
Fantastic. What would we call it? What would your club night be called? Hey, Friday Feels.
Well, there we go.
Isn't it?
That has to be.
On a Friday night.
Yeah.
Friday Feels. Yeah. That's just brilliant. Cool. You know what
Love
you
it.
can do? You can do a 2-foot on the merchandise thing because you can have like Friday
There we
Feels
go.
t-shirts to promote
Yeah.
the song.
Yeah.
And it's the club night as well.
Yeah. And it's sponsored by a chocolate bar and some
With a-
Lidl. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. The best ever. The best ever. That's fantastic. Are you playing any gigs lately? Are you got gigs coming up?
Yeah, so this year's been great with gigs. It's nice to feel that there's the balls rolling with that because it's great to be in the studio, but obviously I want to share my music to live audiences. So I'm doing my first show in Dublin on the 20th of May. So that's very exciting. That'll be a Breaking Sound, which is just a great platform for new artists to perform to a new ears, new listening audience, which is very exciting. And then I've got some shows coming up in Belfast as well, which aren't announced yet, but they will be very, very soon. Going to do my first full band headline show. So that's in the works. And yeah, so just
Cool.
loving getting out and sharing my music and hoping that it will lead on to more and bigger stages.
Well, absolutely. Festivals. Are we gonna get you to a festival? That's the main thing. And
yeah, I would.
Which one of the many festivals that there are now would you like to go to?
I mean,
you can pick something weird and obscure if you like. I mean that's fine.
Yeah, I would love to play Forbidden Fruits. I would love to. Well, I'd love to do The Great Escape. You know, that's something next year I definitely want to put myself out for. And I mean, Glastonbury, let's do that because.
Well, because if nothing else, it's just down the road from here. So I mean, that's
exactly
great reason to do it, isn't it? I could literally touch the tour from. Well, I can't actually, but I can see it if I go.
You hear it then whenever it's happening. I'm sure you can.
Weirdly, you can't actually hear it from where I live. No, you can't hear it. You can see it, but you can't hear it from where I live. The noise all goes off in the opposite direction.
Okay, that's probably a good thing.
But yeah, I did drive past it last year. I didn't go in. I didn't have tickets, but I did drive past it.
I think they're pretty impossible to get, aren't they?
And I just took photos of the entrance and whatever, and just pretended that I was going in. I mean, just but yeah, what a great festival. Have been before. Definitely need to get you in on there. What's the one thing you haven't written yet, which you want to write?
Well, there's a lot of song ideas that I have, and I definitely want to work towards a bigger project. So whether that's like probably an album, but I'm going to start, smaller, and I'm still trying to build a little bit more of a fan base, and I think releasing some singles for the next few while is going to be the way forward for me personally. But yeah, I do have a lot of songs. I mean, my whole phone voice notes is like little ideas, and anytime I have a bit of time, I'll just go and listen to one, and I'll go from there.
Now I've got to ask, because I've asked this before, right? Because
Mhm.
so many younger singer-songwriters write on their phone. Have you
Mhm.
got that backed up? So,
I think I do.
think so. She's going to check afterwards now.
I am definitely, yeah.
Have I
I
actually
think
got
I
that
do,
backed up?
yeah,
Yeah,
because it'll be like the voice notes are on my phone, but I think they're on my computer as well.
cool. I always love how people
Years
stop.
worth of ideas just
Yeah, I know. I
disappear.
always love how people stop and go. But I've from some quite experienced musicians, I've had horror stories in the past on here where they've gone, I literally lost a whole album, and you just went,
Oh,
you know.
no.
So yeah, it's always.
Well, when I write my chords and lyrics, so I'll do the initial ideas on the voice note, and then when I start to write out chords and lyrics, and usually that's pen and paper. But yes, then I'll record it again on my phone.
Where's the most obscure place you've ever put down the voice note?
That's such a great question. I mean, a lot of just times in the shops in Tesco, and I'll be like,
Yes. I love that.
because
You're not
out walking is a very inspiring, time for me. Or driving's great as well, but then you have to wait until you're safely, parked, and then.
do you know what? You're not the first person to say that. You're not the first person to say that in a shop,
Mm.
like literally at the till, and it's like, and then I'd love it if someone could actually film a musician doing it
That's
whilst they're
hilarious.
doing it. That would make a great reel. Just think about it. It's just like just film everybody else's reactions. Like, what's she buying?
That's reminding me of a story that is just making me laugh so much. My dad likes to think of, well, he's very, very creative man, but he wouldn't be the most musical. But he always would have thought of writing songs for me. Like when I was younger, he's always been my biggest fan, and he always had these little song ideas, and he was like, "You should make that a song." So he wrote this song, and he recorded it on his phone, and God love him, it wasn't great. It was just him going, and then my brother made it his ringtone, and we were in Tesco. We were in the shop doing the shop. I wasn't there. My brother told me the story afterwards, and my brother called him, and then my dad's phone started doing the whole like the song that he'd written, and everybody was going, "What's that noise?" And my dad, and my brother was just laughing so much. God love him.
Oh my word! Do you know what you
know.
need to do? You know what you need to do when you finally do the album, right? You do the whole album. You put it's beautiful. It's polished. It's magnificent. There will be a duet on there, maybe as well, or I don't know who you do the duet with. Who would you duet with?
Well, someone who's just popped into my head there when you said that is one of my good friends and musician from Belfast, McVeigh, who's just come out with an amazing song, and I mean his vocals are next level. So if I had to say, I would probably do a duet with him.
There you go. Right. So you've got the beautiful duet on there, etc., etc. Yeah, it's the production is 100%. It's marvelous, and you've got. You mentioned Snarky Puppy earlier, and my connection to Snarky Puppy is that Troy Miller, who's a friend of mine, who's been on this show because he's a world-class drummer, orchestrator. He's produced Snarky Puppy, so we get Snarky Puppy on there as well, and we get Troy on there with the London Symphonic Orchestra doing a little bit of strings on a song. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Wow,
this is an amazing album. It's probably going to win the Mercury Prize, right? But right at the end, the mystery track is your dad.
The ringtone.
The ringtone, just at the end, like literally the whole thing's finished. Then there's a gap, and people are just on their way over to the CD player to turn it off, and then your dad's ringtone comes out.
I love that. I love it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
That should happen.
That's perfect.
And your dad would be proud as punch forever.
Yeah, he would. He would be scundered. He'd be, no, you ruined your perfect work with my voice at the end.
It's not though. It's not though, because actually it would. I think it would say something about you and your relationship with your dad, and I sense from you that family are quite an important part of all of this journey. And you probably wouldn't be there without them. Is that right?
100%. Yeah, they're my support network, and like I said, my dad's been my biggest fan, and my mum has been so supportive. She's a pianist, so whenever I was younger, she put me in for singing and piano lessons, and that's kind of brought me to where I am, really, and my brother and sister are like my best friends, so it's just an amazing network of support.
Oh, you've given everybody the Feel Good Friday that they wanted. You see, absolutely. Thank you so much for coming and joining me for this little chat, Sophie. I feel lighter already as a response to this wonderful conversation with you. Ladies and gentlemen, the wonderful Sophie French. Do go and check out her music. I think you understand what the song's called now. So we will add that to the My Music podcast playlist as well, so that it makes it easier for you to find that. And please do, if you do go and listen to Sophie's music, do stop and talk to her on the socials as well, and say thank you and let her know what that music means to you. We will be back soon with more My Music. Until then, from me and Sophie, bye for now.